Yeah, Gautam, you can start.
Hi everyone, myself Kiran. I will be taking your class for the NSX-T. So hope everyone is doing great. So I am a VCIX Network Virtualization certified from VMware. I am also VMware Data Center Virtualization certified. I am holding around 6 plus 7 years experience in teaching industry. So guys, before we start, can we have a small introduction from everyone? Why you are here and what you want to get from this course? So let's start from Ashish. Senthil,
Yeah, hi. This is Hi, Kiran. Good morning.
good morning, Senthil.
Yeah.
So,
See, I'm a VMware admin, more than 10 years experience in the IT industry, currently working at CL as a consultant. So need to upgrade my career next level in VMware. So that's why I'm plan to learn NSX. So everything now virtualized in cloud environment as well as so integrated with AWS.
okay.
So that's
Uh,
why that's my main focus on this one.
sure, Senthil. So, I think whatever we are going to cover in initial classes, you will be aware of it. So, hopefully, I will take you to the network virtualization as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
What about Arun? Arun Kumar
Hi,
Rao?
friends. Yeah, myself is Arun. I have a total 10 years of experience in VMware only.
Okay.
I was in network engineer.
So, you were also in the VMware technology, right?
Yes.
Okay. What about Azhar? Azhar Usmani?
Yeah, I'm online now.
Yeah, Azhar. So, can you give me brief introduction about yourself and why you want to learn NSXT?
Yeah, I'm actually preparing networking in VMware.
Okay.
I completed my CCNA.
Okay. So, do you have any idea about VMware networking?
Yeah, sure. Virtualization. It's all about related to virtualizations.
Okay. Fine. Fine. What about Niladri?
Yeah, hi Kiran. Hello everyone. So I have a experience of 2 years in VMware. So as you know that I want to also upgrade my career growth. So I'm looking for that this VMware network virtualization and load balancing and with various cloud knowledge I have to know. So that's why I joined here.
Okay. What about Hemant Kumar C?
Yeah, my name is Hemant Kumar. So I have 2 years of experience in networking department. I update my skills. So that's why I'm joining for this AWS cloud. So nowadays we are all moving for cloud related side. Okay, that's why. So I have a little bit know about VMware side. So not more. So
Oh, okay. Okay. What about Dinu? What about Arshad Sheikh?
Yeah, hi, good morning, everyone. So, I don't know much about VMware,
Okay.
just the basic explanation that we do the partitioning on the physical hardware, providing the VMs to uh, for the operations. Okay.
Mhm.
Right now I'm a project manager in a firm, so I'm looking forward for virtualization and moving ahead with the cloud. So these are the two goals of my for this year.
Okay. Sure. What about Martin? Suresh?
Hello.
Yeah, Suresh.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. Tell me.
Can you tell me means about yourself and why you want to learn NSXT?
So, I'm working as a lab admin. So I'm handling VMware.
Okay.
So recently we need to implement on-prem Tanzo. For struggling for the this one AVA means load balancer with the Nexus configuration. So that's why I am joining. for this means joining this demo class?
Suresh, this demo class is on the NSX-T. We are
Yeah,
not dealing with the NSX ALB, Advanced Load Balancer. Okay.
it's
So
not covered for the this next advance.
no, Advanced Load Balancer is not covered in this. It's totally on the NSX-T front.
Okay, the basic will anyway you can teach, right?
Yeah, basic I can teach you. Yeah, no problem.
Okay, how we can configure for the NSX these things, router,
Yeah,
inside router and firewall.
yeah,
Uh,
that we can teach. And moreover, I think if you are using the NSX-T for Tanzu,
mm,
then you don't need, if you are using NSX-T, then you don't need NSX ALB. The native load balancer will be sufficient for you.
okay.
Okay. What about Rahul?
Yeah, hi. Hi, Kiran. Good morning. So, I'm working in currently in a network domain in
Mm-hmm.
a routing switching. So, I want to explore my skill in VMware side.
Okay.
That's why I joined this demo class.
So you don't know anything about VMware networking, right?
Don't know anything about VMware, anything.
Okay.
Don't know about.
Sure, sure. So today we will be covering about the basic VMware networking, and then from tomorrow onwards we will take into the deep into the NSXT. Why we need NSXT? Okay. Then what about Sanjeev?
Hello everyone, I'm Sanjeev. So basically, I'm into networking side for about 3 years, and I want to explore on virtualization networks. So I'm here today.
Okay. Thank you, Sanjeev. What about Sharif?
Hello, sorry, I was mute.
No problem, Sharif.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sharif, and I have some basic knowledge of VMware. I created VM hosts for experimental purposes, so I want to deep dive in it.
Okay. Sure, guys. So I'm sharing my screen. If somebody left, please apologize, and they can let me know about themselves. So is my screen visible? So
Uh, can you please explain before going to what are the topic you are going
yeah,
to cover?
exactly that I'm going to mention, guys. Give me a minute. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. So the topic that we are going to cover in this training, the first topic we will cover about the VMware networking, because there are a lot of people in this training they don't know about the VMware networking, how the virtual networking is currently happening. So in this topic we will cover both VSS and VDS. So VSS stands for virtual standard switch and the virtual distributed switch. Any questions from anyone? Then we cover the difference between NSX-V and NSX.
Are you
Sorry,
writing something?
writing something? We are
Yeah,
not able to.
I'm sharing my screen.
No,
No,
we are seeing.
it's only a white screen is there.
Okay, let me share my screen once again, guys. Sorry. Is it visible now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So today and tomorrow we will talk about the VMware networking, how the VMware networking actually work. Then we'll target about the difference between NSX-V and the NSX-T, because NSX-V is end of life. We are not supporting VMware is not supporting the NSX-V now.
Yeah, what is the difference?
We will talk about the difference, guys.
Okay.
Okay. Then in the third, we'll talk about the NSX-T architecture. In this architecture, we'll talk about management plane, data plane, and control. So I hope everybody knows about SDN. Guys knows about SDN. If they don't worry. I'll explain you about what is SDN and why NSX-T sits into the SDN technology. Then we'll talk about deployment of NSX-T manager. For this, I don't have any lab, right? So I'll showcase you how we need to deploy. I don't have any lab, but yes, the another managers can be deployed using lab, which I can showcase you. But the only thing I don't have is the deployment, the lab for this. I can explain you how this work, but there is no lab for this one. Rest everything we will work on lab. Fifth part, we will talk about data plane preparation for NSX-T. Any questions from anyone? If they want to add any topic, fair enough, I can do that.
Yeah, just want to know when you say management plane and then control plane, are not they same?
No, they are not the same. In SDN, they are not the same. But yes, in NSX-T, they are working as the same in the same device, but in the SDN technology, they are totally different. Management is
Okay,
different, data plane is different, and control plane is different.
thank you.
Then we'll talk about logical segments. Logical segments are L2 segments for L2 connectivity, which works on VXLAN or Geneve. Sorry, VNI. Then we'll talk about routing in NSX-T. We need to deploy tier 1 and tier 0 gateways. Tier 1 gateway is for east-west traffic, and for tier 0 gateways is for north-south communication. Any questions from anyone? Or do you think I can proceed further?
And backup and restore for this one.
Backup and restore we can configure at the later stage. I
Oh,
know it's an initial prerequisite, but we can configure that in the
oh,
later stage. Then we'll talk about uh, distributed firewalling or microsegmentation.
So can we get the lab for this?
Actually, we will be using the VMware hands-on labs for this training.
HOL like this one,
Yes,
right?
yes, and I'll tell you what labs to use and where to use and when to use.
Okay.
Microsegmentation means distributed firewalling as well as gateway firewalling. Ninth, we will cover on advanced services like NAT, load balancer, and IPsec VPNs. 10th, we will cover about backup and restore. And 11th, we will cover about API configuration using Postman. These are the 11 topics I have finalized to cover in this training. If someone has any request, they want me to add anything, then definitely we can add. Not an issue.
yeah, some of the topics I added in the chat, it is given in the group chat. You can check it out whether it's anything's missing in that.
I have a question. Which version of NSX-T you'll be teaching? Sorry, I was.
We will discussing more 4 dot plus 4.1 or 4.0.
Okay.
So NSX-T version which we are referring here is 4.0 or 4.1. And all labs will be on HOL. Guys, anyone any questions? There are few more topics I need to discuss which I have not included. Just give me a minute. Okay, we will also discuss about the VRFs on the tier 0 gateways. Guys, any questions from anyone, or we are good to start? If you have any questions, please ask. Please feel free to ask.
Hey, hi Kiran, Arshadi. So I have one question that I am from the networking background and not on the core one, but as a project manager. So everything for me is like a know-how. So when we talk about the VMware, it is built on the server. This is what I have the information with me. Okay. So
Right.
proceeding further. So all this topic that they have mentioned, it's all about that hardware, server level hardware, and then building a VM on that one, right?
Right.
Okay. So, assuming that three, four people which are there in this meeting, we are not from the server background. So please do cover detailing while covering the topic. That
Yeah,
is the
sure.
only
So that's what I want to cover the VMware networking. In the VMware networking, I will be covering the basic fundamentals of how the networks look like in in virtual environment. Okay. So when we are going to talk about the NSX-T straight away, then you can understand what are the problems we are facing in the traditional networks and what is the need of the NSX-T. We will cover that part. So everything will be covered here.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So guys, can we start now? Or does anyone has any questions? Hello. Okay. Let's make a start, guys.
Yeah.
So now what we'll do, we'll talk about a basic server. Suppose you have a basic server, let's say a ESXi host. Everyone knows what is the ESXi host? Or they want me
Yeah.
to explain about it.
Yeah, a
Suppose,
little bit of explanation will help.
okay. So let's say we have a bare metal server. In this bare metal server, we are going to install a hypervisor. The hypervisor is called as VMware ESXi host. VMware ESXi. It is just a operating system used for virtualization. Means, suppose we have some hardware resources, let's say CPU of 10 gigahertz and RAM of, let's say, 120 GB, hard disk of, let's say, approximate 1 TB. Now I want to create a VM. So let's say this is a virtual machine, and the requirement for this virtual machine is to get the resources like CPU of, let's say, 1 gigahertz, RAM of, let's say, 8 GB, and then we have a storage of approximately, let's say, 10 GB. So now my VM having this much of requirements, but my hyper, the resources that I have. Okay, Martin is saying there is no voice. So is it for everyone?
I'm good.
No, I'm good.
Martin, you have to click on join audio.
Yeah, Martin. Now you can hear me. I think you need to reconnect, Martin, because I don't see the mute button in front of your name. Okay. So proceeding further. So let's say I have a VM. I have a requirement this. So what hypervisor will do, this VM will ask these resources from the hypervisor. This hypervisor in return will make a API query to your hardware. I have a requirement and I want to create a virtual machine. This is my API. Whatever the resources VM needs, the ESXi will query that resources from bare metal and allocate that resources to the virtual machine. So far so good, or do you need more introduction about the ESXi?
So ESXi is Linux based operating system.
No, it's a Photon OS customized by VMware. Photon OS is the operating system that VMware use.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, it's a customized Linux operating system for VMware. Now, as soon as you have this server located, you can configure as much as of virtual machines in your environment. How you can configure these virtual machines? The same way we have configured on the first environment. Again, you can need a resources. You will make an API query to your hypervisor, and this hypervisor will make a query to the bare metal server. And the process will go on until and unless your hardware resources are exhausted. If you have some request to make and your hardware resources are exhausted, the hypervisor will notify you there are no sufficient resources to spin up this VM. You're gone. So far, so good, or anyone has any questions?
So ESXi is basically a interface to configure the VM host. So
Correct.
is it graphical or CLI?
Okay. If you want to do the day-to-day activities, it is user interface. But if you want to troubleshoot, then you can log in through the UI as well. Not an issue.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So I'll explain you how to log in into your hypervisor. So we'll discuss about it today. So hope you will understand that one part. Okay. So now suppose this is your ESXi host. This is your ESXi host. This ESXi host needs a management IP address. So for example, suppose this is a standard switch. Means whenever you are going to initialize a ESXi host or a bare metal to put the software on it, there will be a standard switch configured. And this standard switch will be connecting to your physical environment. This standard switch will be connecting to your physical environment. So the uplinks of this switches is called VMNIC 0 and VMNIC 1. So whenever we talk about the physical links, the physical connectors in VMware called as VMNIC. Any questions from anyone?
So, Kiran, when we talk about VMware, it's all virtual, right?
Okay. So if you have virtual, suppose this is your virtual environment. Okay, this is your VSS, let's say. But at the end, it should connect to your physical environment. If you can't connect it to the physical environment, there is no use of the virtual environment. So you need a physical connectivity. Because if you don't have the physical connectivity, there is no use to configure VMs, because nobody from outside world will be able to reach to that VMs. Similarly, the VMs will not able to reach to the outside world. So at the end, you need some kind of physical connectivity, and that is called as TOR, top of rack. Top of rack switch. Is it good or still confusion? And we need to connect. And when we need to connect the TOR switch, these are your NICs on your server. These NICs are the physical NICs that you have on your server. And these physical NICs on your servers are called as VMNIC. So depending upon the capability, means the hardware, it can be 2, it can be 4, it can be 6, it can be 8. So you need the uplinks. And these, what you need to do? You need to ask someone to connect the cable from this NICs to the physical switch. And on the physical switch, if you are from the networking, you know what is trunk, what is access port. These will always remain trunk. Guys, so far so good, or still you have any questions?
Can you tell me about the trunk? What is trunk?
This question is from?
Yeah, from Sindel.
Okay. Now, if you talk about trunk and access, it's basic networking. What do you need in access? Single VLAN. And if you talk about trunk, means you are carrying multiple VLANs.
Yeah, got it.
Okay. Okay.
Kiran, I have one more
Now,
question.
yeah.
When we talk about EXSI host, okay, so is
Mhm.
it something software which is built on the server, or what is it?
Okay. I told you earlier as well, it's a bare metal server. On top of the bare metal server, you are going to install the hypervisor. And this is your hypervisor, ESXi. It's the operating system.
Okay. So you mean to say if a server has a Windows operating system
No,
2022,
no,
on that one it is hypervisor
no,
also.
no. There are two types of hypervisor, type 1 and type 2. Type 1 and type 2. The one which you are referring right now is type 2. On for us, what we are talking about here is bare metal. Boot your server using that hypervisor, means using the ESXi host. Means it is the same way you install Windows or Linux on your server. The same way you install Windows or Linux on a server, the same way you need to install the hypervisor, the ESXi, on your bare metal server.
Okay, got it, got it.
Okay. In type 2, the way which you talked right now means you have a server. On top of that, you are going to build the Windows, On top of that, you're going to install the VMware workstation. That is type 2. Okay. Now moving ahead, whenever you are going to install the operating system on the bare metal server, there will be a default virtual standard switch configured in your environment. And that that virtual standard switch will have an interface called as the VMK0. K0. The VMK0 is a management port of your ESXi host. Management IP address of your ESXi host. These all things should be covered in your data center virtualization. But yes, there are a lot of people who are from networking. They don't know about the data center virtualization. That's why I'm covering these topics. Just to make sure that you people know when I'm going to talk about these things. Going ahead, guys. Can we go ahead?
Yes, yes.
Anyone any questions?
So the VMK0 is a physical port to configure management IP.
Okay. The only physical we are talking here is these two ports.
Inc 0 and Inc 1. Okay.
Other than that, any port which we are going to configure in the NSX-T, sorry, in the vSphere environment will be virtual. These are the two interfaces which will be carrying your traffic outside the world. That's it. Other than that, this interface is just like the virtual interface of your or loopback interface of your router or switch.
Oh, okay. Not
Okay.
the host port, not the host management IP. This is the
No.
VSS management IP. Okay.
This is the logical interface, loopback interface like that. And on that, we are providing the IP address to it. So that anybody trying to access from the outside world to this particular server, what they need to do? They just need to open a session from their management PC, HTTPS ::, IP address of your ESXi host, let's say 10.1.1.10 slash, sorry, colon 443. As soon as you prompt it, you are able to access into your ESXi host.
And the 10.1.1.10 is VMK0.
Right. It's a VMK0 IP address. Correct.
So there is no other physical port on ESXi host for the management Ethernet cable to plug in.
There is one port that depends upon the hardware which you are buying. It's an ILO port that you got from the server provider. So it can be Dell, it can be what do you say, Lenovo or HP. They have the ILO ports or the inbound management port through which you will manage your server in case this is down.
Oh, okay. So we don't call it as Ethernet 0. It's 0.
No, we don't call it. I'll show you in the GUI as well that it's called as VMK0.
All right. Thank you. Fair enough.
Yeah. And this, as soon as you log in into the particular URL, right, like this URL, on this URL, you will be getting the prompt to log in into your ESXi host. And to log in into your ESXi host, what do you need to provide? Username and password. The username is always the root, and the password which you initialize using the initialize the OS. Guys, is it visible or do you need to use another color?
This
Yes,
one
sir.
is better.
Sorry,
Yeah, this one is better.
this one is better, right? So now this is your simple concepts of VMware networking. We have talked about VSS. Now, whenever you are going to provision any VM, let's say a VM1, then this VM1 will connect to your VSS. And this interface on the VM level is called as VNIC. And on this VSS, it's called as port group, PG. Guys, so far so good? Or anyone has any concern?
Yes, Kiran, thank you. So VNIC is also a logical port within the VM that
Right,
we are going.
because whenever your operating system is initializing, it will ask for the network interface. And that network interface within the VM is called as VNIC.
So all these ports, when we are assigning IP, by default they fall into the same subnet or same VLAN, or there is additional configuration to keep all of them into. They need not be in the same VLAN. Then they need a router then, right? If they are not in the same subnet,
Okay,
that will.
let me just give me a minute. So I'll explain you that fundamental as well in terms of networking. Give me 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
I'll just organize these things so that you people have this handy. Okay. Till here, does anyone has any questions or we are good to go?
I'm good myself.
Okay. Anyone else? Any questions? Guys, you have feel
Sir,
free.
this video classes after sending in WhatsApp, sir.
Sorry, I did not get you.
Sir, after this class completed, this recorded classes is provider not, sir.
So I don't think I am the authorized one to answer this question. So
Sir,
Kiran,
I joined very late, sir. I joined late this class, so that's why I'm asking, sir. I
Yeah,
want to.
we upload on the YouTube. Don't worry, we'll upload on the YouTube.
Okay, sir. Thanks.
Okay. I just want to get a confirmation from you. So as you mentioned in the above diagram, where the VM1 and VNIC, so it's a virtual machine one which has been built, I'm assuming it, and through that virtual machine is getting connected to VSS, the standard switch. Okay. Through VNIC. So it's all virtual in EXSI
right,
host, right?
right,
And then from EXSI host, the physical hardware is getting connected to the physical switch through VM, vMinic and 1 and 0, right?
right.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Now, just to give you some more, let me die. Okay, give me a minute, guys. Okay. Let me take you, if you are from networking, let's talk about something like this. Let's say this is your distribution switch, or let's say this is your core switch. I'm talking about 3-tier architecture right now. I'm not talking about the 2-tier, means your spine and leaf. I'm talking about core, distribution, and then your. This is your distribution. Might be, let's say, this is your ether channel. So let me say this is your VLAN gateways.
You are drawing something, we can't see anything.
If you are not, then let me share my screen again. Give me a minute. Hope is it visible now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, earlier I was also thinking what is going on.
Okay, my bad, guys. Apologies. Okay, so let me get the rid of them. Guys, so far so good. Are you able to understand in terms of network perspective?
Yeah, this diagram, because it was invisible when you were explaining, I lost.
Okay. This is your distribution switch. Let's say this is your server.
Distribution core. Okay.
And on this, I'm going to create a new VSS. So I'm talking about VSS because I have a single ESXi host. So this is your VMNIC 0. And this is your...
What is the redundancy for this one?
No, you can choose anything. Just you need to assign the uplinks to your VSS. That's it. It's not like that it's a resilient. Okay, it can be active, it can be active standby. That we'll discuss. Okay. Now on this VSS, let's say this is your management interface. This is your, let's say, VMK0. This VMK0 has an IP address of, let's say, VLAN 10 10.1.1.10/24. And the gateway here is, let's say, VLAN 10. So the gateway here is, let's say, 10.1.1./24. This is your ESXi host. This is your trunk. This is your trunk. This is your port channel. So let's say this port channel is also, one is also trunk. Now, guys, do you think this is the feasible network topology or anything else is required?
That management could be access or trunk, correct? We
Correct.
can use them.
Yeah. So this is your SVI for. So now what you need to do? You need to advertise this network to the outside world. So anybody trying to access your ESXi host from a remote side, they can able to reach your ESXi host. The only thing you need to make sure that you have 443 port open. Guys, any questions or we are good to go?
And this port 443 needs to be open at router, firewall, and EXSI host, right?
Yes. No, on the ESXi host, I'll show you how to open it. But if you have any physical firewall, right, and that is blocking the traffic, then you need to make sure that your source should be any, the destination should be this network, and you need to allow the port will be 443. Otherwise, you will not able to access your ESXi host.
Okay, the source should be always any.
Yeah,
Right.
you can put your any network, you know that about your environment. It can be any management network. If you have a dedicated management subnet, then on the instead of any, you need to provide that management subnet only.
Okay. Okay.
Right?
Yeah, the distributed switch is a physical one or it isn't a physical one, no?
Everything is physical, man. The virtual. Okay, let me give a demarcation point. Okay.
Yeah.
Above this line, okay, all is physical. And below this line, physical, and below this line, it is virtual.
Yeah, that ESXi box inside the ESX box is virtual, correct?
Exactly, man. It's just a bare metal server. If you go to your data center, you will see just a server. You will know what is happening within the server, right?
Yeah, correct.
So, guys, if I need to deploy a VM, then can somebody tell me how this VM will communicate to the outside world?
Through
Through
VSS.
port group, we should create port group.
Okay. So let's say this is my VM1 and the IP address for this VM is, let's say, VLAN 20. Let's say 110.1.1. Okay. 2.1/24. So can somebody tell me how this will talk to the outside world?
Through VMNix0.
To VMNix0. Okay. And this is your gateway. So now you know how these things work. Oh, okay. Let's say this is .10 is a gateway, and then you have VLAN 20 configured here. Now, any questions? Now, how you see the VM1 will communicate to the outside world? Going to the VSS, from VSS to distribution switch, from distribution switch to your core switch and outside the world. Guys, any questions, any as of now, or we can proceed further? Or if somebody will ask you how this communication will happen, will you able to explain them?
Yeah, can you bring back the diagram? Just trying to understand.
Which one, which diagram?
It moved to the left. Actually, I am seeing from my phone.
Okay.
Yeah, now I am able to see it.
Yeah, can the tutor just say that how the traffic flow will go through for the VM?
The traffic flow from VM will go from this VM to this VSS. This VSS, it will go to distribution switch. From this distribution switch, it will land to your core switch, and from core switch, it will land to your gateway. So all here within the core switch, distribution switch, and the VSS, it's all L2 traffic.
Where the NSX will come?
Guys, let's go slowly, please.
Kiran, one doubt. So here, I totally got the architecture that you have shared over here. So VLAN 10 is getting from ESXi host VSS. VLAN 10 is getting communicated to the gateway of VLAN 10.
Right.
How VLAN 20 will communicate? It will be mapped under VLAN 10.
Sorry. How VLAN 20 will communicate with VLAN 10?
Yes.
Okay. The communication between the VLAN VM1 and VMK0 will always be happening by the physical environment. And that is the main cause of using the SDN network or NSXV or NSX-T. Means the communication from VM1 will go to the VSS to distribution switch to core switch, then the default gateway routed back to distribution switch, back to your VSS, and back to your VMK0. Means the traffic will go here on the top and then return.
Can I say that this is the diagram here? What it is showing is a very traditional VMware communication, VM to
Yeah,
VM.
exactly.
Okay, okay.
I'm
I
talking
joined in
about
between.
traditional
That's why
only.
I just get clarity.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
It's okay, guys. Okay, the guys who joined late, I have one request to make. This is what we are discussing today. So I'm sharing my screen again. I'm talking about traditional VMware networking. I've not touched base on the NSXT as of now. Okay. So if anybody is talking about the NSXT on the day first, won't be possible because there are a lot of guys in this call who are not aware about VMware networking. For them, I have to clear these topics first.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Okay. So, guys, any questions or we are good to go?
So it's just a typical example of routing that you took the VLAN 20. Otherwise, it could be VLAN 10 only, the VM we want to deploy on the ESXi.
Guys, that
It could
totally
be.
depend upon how you are planning your infrastructure. Okay. That comes into the planning phase. And we are talking about the execution phase. So, might be you have a application owners and they want that all the VMs should reside in the different VLANs. Okay. They don't want that all the VMs to communicate with them to each other, right? So if they want to do that scenario, then yes, definitely you need to wait for the design.
Okay.
Accordingly, you need to build your infrastructure.
But that's the beauty here that it could be any VLAN separated, not necessarily a single ESXi host allows only that VLAN communication because we have inter-routing that you just explained because of that.
Yes. So that's why we have the beauty of NSXT or the Gen technologies. So when we'll go in the means, so when we talk about the classes in depth, then you will come to know about what is the benefits of getting the NSXT in your environment.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Guys, anyone, any question or do you want me to take a break for 10 minutes? 5 to 10 minutes?
I just have one question. Like,
Yeah.
maybe can we go to the diagram too?
Yeah, sure, man. Okay, so let me share my screen once again. Yeah, this is the diagram you're talking about.
Yeah, correct. So here we are having only one VM. So if we are having another VM in the same ESXi box, which is with VLAN 10, right? So the communication will not go above the virtual layer. It will be on the VSS
Correct.
itself.
Correct. Yes, that is correct. So, for example, if you want to say like this, if I have a VM, let's say this is my VM2. This VM2 is connecting to this VSS. And the IP address for this is VLAN 10, 10.1.1. Let's say 100. Then yes, the communication will happen within the VSS.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
So guys, are we good to go or do you means or we can have a small break for 5 minutes or 10 minutes?
So
Yeah,
based on this, what you explained, if I have to deploy a VM3, it need not be VLAN 10 or 20. It could be any VLAN with any subnet.
Okay, let's do that then. Good idea. Go ahead. Build a VLAN. If you are building a VLAN, great, good enough. This is your VM3. This is your VLAN 30. Right? This is what you're asked.
Yep.
10.1.3.0/110/24. You need VLAN 30 here. You need SVI here for VLAN 30.
Though we
10.
are having a dependency here. Okay.
Guys, if you don't provide the gateway, if you don't configure the gateway, the VM within the same VLAN can communicate, but they cannot communicate to the outside world.
Right.
And that is dependent. So now We'll talk about more about ESXi host. Okay. And then we'll talk about the VSS, and that will be the end for the day. Tomorrow we'll talk about the VDS. And tomorrow class will be entirely on VDS. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's meet in another 5-10 minutes.
Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, my name is Riaz. I'm founder of CDP Networks. So we are conducting NSX first batch. So, but we are giving some complimentary offer. Whoever is booking NSX-T, get a VMware 8.0 recorded video absolutely free. And additionally, we are giving a discount of NSX-T also. For Indian customer, we are just asking for 15,000, and for international customer, just $200. And this is valid only for a top 10 customer only. This is a first come, first out basis. So whoever interested, please ping to the our sales team. Can you hear me?
Riaz, I believe everyone is on.
Okay, break.
Yes, Riaz. Thank you for letting. Can you put that slide on the screen so we remember?
I'll do that. I'll do that. Okay.
Thank
Yeah.
Riaz, along with this 8.0 is free for this one. Hello.
Yeah, what Riaz has mentioned that you will get the recorded sessions for it. For 8.0.
Yeah, how long it will take this NSX-T?
See, depending on our speed, it should take at least 6 weekends. We'll try to wrap up in 5 weekends, but yeah, at last we can do it on 6 weekends.
Okay. 6 weekends means every Saturday and Sunday, right?
Right. Saturday, Sunday, 2 hours class. And in that, I'll cover only 1.5 hours for the session. And then 30 minutes you can do the lab.
Okay.
Or might be if some topics are not covered, I can take 2 hours complete, and then you can do your lab by yourself.
All the training will weekend, correct? Not weekdays.
No weekdays. It's all weekend.
Okay, because they mentioned weekdays here, that's why.
But right now this batch is for weekend. But yeah, if somebody else want to enroll for weekdays, I don't know about it.
Okay.
Okay, timings at what time?
The same time, the same time we are meeting today, the same time we're meeting next week as well.
Okay, at 10 to 12.
10 to 12, right?
Okay. We will discuss anything regarding NSX today, or this will go with this VMware and all?
Today we'll talk about the VMware and all, and tomorrow we'll show you the issues with the VMware networking, and then we'll talk about NSXV and NSX2 differences.
At least we need to know where it is placed this NSX.
Yes. So from tomorrow onwards, after the VDS, we can start targeting the NSX-T.
Okay.
So there are a lot of people who are not aware of how the VMware networking is currently working, right? So
yeah, at least they should know the VMware.
The basic fundamentals, right?
Yeah,
So correct. Tomorrow is a final demo lecture, right?
That I don't know, guys.
No, but you meant to tomorrow you are continuing. You are closing today only.
So tomorrow we are continuing, but I don't know whether it is demo or not. That Riaz will let you know.
No. Then they
I
need to.
think 2 days demo. I think they mentioned something like that. 2 days they will give the demo. After that, the batch will start.
Demo will be actually today only, 9th of March, basically.
Oh, then you should cover at least NSX part, man. What is NSX? How it's work and where it is placed and all. This is all going for this basic things for VMware.
So okay, then I'll see. Let's meet in 3-4 minutes. Then we'll talk, and then we'll talk about the NSX-T.
Yeah, correct. Without knowing NSX, how we will proceed? We are for the demo for the NSX. The entire thing is going on ESXi level. At least you need to mention the where it's placed, how it will work, and all details.
Yeah, all
Okay.
details I can't, but yeah, I can tell you what is the SDN and where the NSX-T
Yeah,
fits.
yeah. See, I'm not saying deeply. At least we need to get the introduction.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
No problem. Yeah.
Okay.
INR is 10K, no? It is, but you mentioned 15K here.
Sorry, guys, can you come again?
No, the amount, what they something mentioned in the chat is 10K for this NSX. But
That's a typo mistake. Just one second.
okay.
Oh, that's a 15 KB. So just let me just typo mistake. Please ignore. Karan, you can continue up to 12:30 also because I increased the timing of Zoom and 1 o'clock your CCNA ka batch will start.
Hello, guys. Are we back? Are we good to start now?
Yes.
Yes, Kiran, you can start.
Okay.
Karan, you can continue up to 12:30. Actually, I increase your timing of Zoom.
Okay, I'll try to. Okay, so guys, there is a request that this is a demo class, and a lot of people are asking about the NSX-T. We haven't discussed about the NSX-T. So unfortunately, we have to wait for tomorrow, and then we can cover about the VMware networking. So there are some people who needs the introduction about the NSX-T. So I want everyone's consent before we proceed further. Are we good to discuss about the basics of NSX-T right now?
Yeah, good.
Yes, that's why we are here, man.
No, Rajesh, actually, I agree with you, man. The problem here is
Yeah.
that
See, somebody is coming for NSX-T. They should have the basic knowledge of VMware, correct? At least this all the things.
Okay.
So especially this is the demo for NSX-T. So
Okay.
should...
Okay. No problem, guys. I really apologize if it's not up to your mark. Okay.
No. I am not saying something like that. See, if you are going deeply, we will not get anything regarding the NSX-T. That is why I'm talking. You are teaching deeply that one VMware part. Okay, if you are going deeply VMware part, then that will not good. That's
No. Let me take it positively. So I think Rajesh concern began because when we heard that there will be only one demo class. Had it been two demo
correct.
classes, otherwise we would have everyone will be on the
That
same
is
page.
that is correct. Sharif is saying correct. If it is one day demo, then you should cover NSX part as well. If you are going 2 days, then you can start from the scratch.
Yeah, what is correct? What is the benefit of NSX and where we can use?
If you are
Okay, what
saying
is the goal? Why we are deploy this? Then that information is very much
guys. Okay.
appreciated.
Okay. Let's focus on NSX-T. Okay. So, is my screen visible, guys?
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah. So first of all, the main fundamental of using NSX-T is to avoid challenges like the unnecessary use of network bandwidth. So can somebody tell me what was the use? Why was there is an unnecessary use of network bandwidth? Means your VM1, right, wants to communicate to VM2 and they are residing on the same ESXi host. So every time what is happening, the traffic is routing back to your physical environment. From your physical environment, it is returning back to your ESXi host. So the traffic is unnecessary going to the physical environment. To overcome that challenge, we use NSX-T. That is one of the use. Second main advantage of using the NSX-T is to provide the microsegmentation. Microsegmentation, what microsegmentation will do for you is Suppose this is your VM. Okay. And this is your another VM. They are connecting to a VDS. So guys, I really apologize who does not know about VDS. So these two VMs are connecting, let's say they are VM1 connecting to, let's say, port group of, let's say LS1. Then we have VM2 connecting to PGLS2, let's say 1. So they are same VM connecting on the same port group, connecting to the VDS, and I want to block the traffic between them. For example, let's say it's 10.1.1.10, and the another one is 10.1.1.11. So there is any way that you can tell me in traditional networking where you can block the traffic between the two VMs falling in the same network, except then you're using Meckle and Weckel. So what we are going to do here is we are going to enforce the security policies on the VNIC of the VMs. Enforcing security policies on the VNIC of the VM. Guys, anyone any concern? Do you know about what is
This,
policy?
this will happen when the both the VM communicate each other, or they are communicating for different.
If they are communicating to each other, if they are communicating to different, doesn't matter. We are going to enforce the security policies on the VNIC of the VM. So like your firewall on your VNICs.
And what happened to VSS?
VSS we will not be using, man. It was just a basic. We will be using the VDS because for NSX-T, your VDS is required.
So the ESXi host has this component RPMs built in,
Which components?
the VDS component.
VDS we have to configure from the vCenter, man. And that
So
I was about to cover today, but as you said, it's a demo class, so I don't need to know about the NSX-T. So that's why I'm moving to NSX-T.
gotcha.
Okay. The another main advantage of using the NSX-T is the SDN technology. SDN means we will be separating the control plane, data plane, and the management plane.
Okay, NXT is a free software or is what? Is paid version.
Okay. So the NSX-T OVA you can download and you can use it. But at last, whenever you're going to prepare it for NSX for the data plane consumption, then you need to provide the license. It's all license based. So you need to create the virtual machine. On that virtual machine, you need to provide the license details. For example, let's say
So is a group license or individual license?
it's a group license, man. Yeah, it's a group license.
And how many hosts we can connect on this license?
Which session?
Pardon?
I'm saying you are saying how many hosts we can connect in session. I need to understand.
Yeah, how many hosts we can connect in a group license? This is
See, if you talk about in a group, then there is a limit of at least you can configure 16 hosts in a cluster, right? So depending
okay.
upon cluster that you can configure in the vCenter. Okay.
Correct.
So let's talk about the SDN. So in SDN, we have what we have: a management plane, okay. Before that, let's talk about the traditional environment. In traditional router and switches, in traditional environment, we have control plane, then we have a data plane, and then we have a management plane. So if your management plane goes down in your traditional environment, nothing will happen to your data plane and control plane. Everything will work fine. The only problem you're going to face here is that you're not able to manage your device. You're not able to configure it. You're not able to do any kind of troubleshooting. But what if your data plane goes down? Or what if your control plane goes down? If your control plane goes down in traditional devices, your data plane goes down as well as your management plane goes down. Similarly, if your data plane goes down, then everything is down, man. This is gone and this is gone as well. So means you want to say all these three planes were tightly coupled with each other. Coupled with each other. But in SDN technology, what is happening? What we are doing, we will be separating all these planes. So let's say we have a control plane. Then we have a data plane.
These are the individual VMs, correct?
Right now, not. We'll discuss about it. I'm just giving you the insights about the SDN. Then the same thing I can relate with the NSX-T. This will be your data plane. And this will be your management plane. So now we need to find a way where this can communicate to this. 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 And this can communicate to this. So we need a find way that how this data plane, control plane, and management plane are going to talk to each other. So means in SDN, we have decoupled all our three planes from each other. Using this same fundamental, let's introduce the same fundamental in NSX-T. Before that, anyone has any questions? Hello, anyone has any questions?
Right now, no. We can see the concept.
Okay. Now, if we see about the NSX-T manager, or a manager, in this manager, we have the controller and the manager inbuilt. Controller and the NSX-T manager. inbuilt within a same virtual machine. Means your same the same virtual machine is working as a manager as well as a controller. And these manager and controller are communicating to each other using a protocol called RFC. Means if you're going to deploy a single manager, that manager contains both manager as well as controller, and they are communicating to each other using a protocol called RFC. Now, if we talk about the data plane can be your ESXi host, can be your bare metal server, your cloud, containers, Kubernetes, anything can be happen. You can have cloud, containers, or Kubernetes. It can be anything. Okay. Now the problem here is how this manager will communicate to your ESXi host. So we have a special protocol here called RAPH, Application Proxy Hub. That allows the communication of your manager with your ESXi host. It works, and then we have a controller communicating with your ESXi host or with another management, another data plane. So these all layer, if we talk about, this all are your data plane. This ESXi host has something called NSX proxy installed by NSX-T. This manager will communicate with your ESXi host on port TCP 1234. Whereas your controller connect with your ESXi host on port TCP 1235. Now, if we talk about the protocol that runs between the controller and the ESXi host is called as CCP. Means cluster control plane, and the NSX proxy is called as CP. LCPs, local control plane. Between the manager and the ESXi host, it is called as MA, management agent. And on the manager is called as management plane, MP, MPA. MPA, management plane agent. Now, what we need to do, we also need a compute manager. What is a compute manager? A compute manager is nothing but your vCenter. So either you can configure a standalone ESXi host within your manager, within your NSX-T manager, or you can integrate with the compute cluster. This compute cluster can be integrated with your manager. And what is the use of this compute cluster? The use of this compute cluster is to have the inventory. Inventory about what? Yes, guys from the vCenter background. What compute manager contains? Inventory about whom?
EXI host.
ESXi.
Resources.
It's an inventory of ESXi host, because from compute manager, it is just a vCenter. Well, guys, my bad. I wrote something wrong here. It's a vCenter. And vCenter includes your inventory about the ESXi host. Correct. Anyone, any questions? This is an overview about your NSX-T architecture. So whenever you are going to make any of the configuration changes on the manager pushes it to controller, and then controller will push into the ESXi host. And this ESXi host contains VDL2 on the kernel level. VDL2, vSIP, and VDRB. VDL2 stands for virtual layer 2. vSIP stands for firewalling. VDRB stands for virtual distributed routing base. So all this information will be residing within your ESXi host. In case your controller goes down, your manager goes down, boom, no impact on your data plane. Your the data plane will work as it is. The only problem we'll have is there will be no new configuration required. So you have decoupled your management plane from your control plane and from your management plane. This is
So
the
data plane is ESX host, correct? ESX host level.
The data plane can be your bare metal servers as well. It
Okay.
can be a cloud, it can be containers, it can be Kubernetes.
Okay. What about management plane is? It is NSX manager.
Yeah, it's an NSX manager. That manager includes both controller as well as manager.
Okay.
Guys, this is all about basic architecture of your NSX-T. I know I was too fast because I need to cover this part. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
What is the basic thing of control plane?
Sorry, can you come again?
What is the basic part of control plane?
What is the basic part of control plane, or what is the basic requirement? What actually the control plane is doing for you, right?
Yeah. Actually, what is doing for?
Okay. The control plane is your brain. So if you talk about the traditional environment, right? So what is a control plane doing for you? What the control plane is doing for you? If we talk about the traditional network devices. Yeah, guys. It is a brain,
the
man.
traffic.
It is a brain. It includes all the configuration that you need. Okay. It is the one who is actually taking care all the things happening in your environment. A complete centralized topology of your environment. That is taken care by your controllers. If we talk about traditional routers and switches, what is the use of control plane in a router? Anyone from network background can answer this. Hello, anyone? Any answer?
Can you please repeat the question?
My question here is, in traditional networking, what is the use of a control plane on your routers?
See, normally in control plane,
Exchange
okay,
the packet from source to destination.
It's a part of the data plane, right? Not a control plane.
yes. So here I happen here, okay, the normally in traditional routing of the control planes will have the topology, okay, where it will have the routing topology as well as neighbor topology, and it will have the end-to-end visibility on the control plane
Exactly.
of the
The
router.
same thing the controller is doing for you in the NSXT.
So are you using any protocol control plane?
Which protocol are you talking about?
OSPF, RIP like that, or static routes, anything?
Okay, so here we will be using a protocol, either static, OSPF, or BGP.
So can't we use OSPF?
I said 3 protocols we can use: static, OSPF, and BGP. Did I say something else? If I said, I'm sorry. So only 3 protocols are supported: static, BGP, and OSPF. No RIP, no EIGRP.
It's because of old technology. That's the reason.
Actually, the problem with the RIP is the RIP supports only maximum of 16 hop. After that, it will consider the packet unreachable, right?
Okay.
And the
Yeah.
EIGRP is your open source protocol, or it's not an open source protocol. It's a Cisco proprietary protocol, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we can't use the EIGRP as well.
Okay.
But mainly, I've seen people using only BGP and static.
Okay, so basically, NXX isn't deployed in network type. The all deep network knowledge is required, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
You need networking as well as you should know about the vSphere as well. Because if you talk about CCNA, the CCNA is revolving around the Cisco router, switches, and firewalls, right? But if you talk about NSX-T, it revolves around networking plus the vSphere environment.
Yeah, but in an organization, who can play the role when we deploy the NXT in environment? The network guys are deploy this, or what? The system guys is deploy this.
If we talk about the system administrator, they are not deploying it. Okay.
Okay.
But if you talk about NSX-T, it's a network team who is doing that. But now I believe there is a change in the requirement. They are introducing something called VCF, VMware Cloud Foundation. VMware Cloud Foundation is nothing but a complete umbrella of VMware products into a single suite, like VMware NSX, vSAN, or vSphere Compute, right? Even vRealize as well. So they are building a single environment through which you can configure all your requirements. So nowadays it is not mandatory that a system administrator should not learn the NSX. They can also learn the NSX. But if they are having the knowledge about the VMware. But for network engineers, if they know about the networking, then they can directly jump into the NSXT. Just they need to know about the VMware networking, how it is working.
Kiran, we should know the switching and routing table and all. Not required or
not
just
required.
Okay.
Not required. But basics would be great.
Okay. Okay.
Can
Along
we?
the syllabus, you're teaching that basic, that's the routing of switching.
That's a CCNA.
CCNA. Okay.
Kiran, can we build the lab environment in our this one system?
You can build if you have the resources.
Basic requirement for this one for lab environment in our.
Can you tell me what are this one configurations like?
Guys, in demo, it is not possible to showcase the lab part. but as you go through the course, I'll definitely help you out to build your own environment. Or if you don't want to build your own environment, you can use the VMware HOL, VMware Hands-on Labs for your practice.
Kiran, when you are planning to do the actual class?
I thought it's actual today, but it's come to know it's a demo. So tomorrow, I think we will be talking about the VDS, and then after the VDS, we can talk. I'll cover the same topic again, which I've just covered today, except the
Okay.
VSS.
Okay, so the actual class will start from next week onwards, correct?
Rizwan, are you on the call? Riaz, are you on the call? I think tomorrow it's also the same, not a demo, I believe. So tomorrow will be a class on this. And then from tomorrow onwards, we can have a regular classes on the NSX-T.
Okay, Kiran. This side is Anup.
Yeah.
Can you show the console? What is the console like NXT? Like this is like
Yeah,
a
sure.
VMware or?
Sure, guys. Give me 2 minutes. Let me start the lab. Just give me 2 minutes.
It will be a weekend classes.
It will be a weekend classes, yes. Guys, bear with me for a minute. I'm just switching on the lab, okay?
From whom should we contact regarding the fee structure, or how long is the class duration? How many weeks will it be? Those information, whom can we talk to?
When we went on a break, right? So somebody Riaz, you need to check, or you need to check Aftab. Is Aftab on the call? I think somebody has pinged something on the chat. Old chat, I believe. I'll ping you the name, guys. Give me a minute.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Kiran, you didn't mention, explain like NSX D and T.
Guys, it's not V, it's T. Okay, so let me
Yeah,
explain you.
sorry.
The V is only related to the vSphere environment. Means VMware introduced the NSX environment in 2016 and at a name called NSX-V. V is for networking challenges that we face on the VSS and VDS. So they introduced NSX-V. But NSX-V doesn't have the support for cloud, containers, Kubernetes, and bare metal. So in 2018 and 19, VMware introduced another NSX product called NSX-T that is supported to bare metal, KVM, cloud, containers, Kubernetes, all these things. So that is just a basic difference. But if we go to the architectural difference, there are a lot of differences in the V side and the T side.
Okay.
Guys, I'm sharing my screen. Let me know when it is visible to you.
To learn NSX-T, what will be a prerequisite, Kiran?
You should know the basic of networking and the basic of vSphere I'll cover.
Okay, so basic of networking, then that should be enough of
Yes.
to cover the NSX-T. All right. Okay.
Guys, this is the lab that we are going to use. It's a free lab. And okay, my bad, guys. This is this is how the NSX-T looks like, guys. This is the console for NSX. If anybody wants to look the console, right?
It's a separate console for the NSX, correct? It is
Yes.
not under the vCenter, correct?
No, not now. But when we talk about NSX-V, it was a single console for NSX-V and the vCenter. But in the
Yeah.
T, you have a dedicated console for the NSX-T.
Okay.
So in that NSX-T, we can see that ESX cluster vCenter thing also we can see here ESX cluster and all.
Yeah. So if you go to the fabric, go to the compute managers. This is your vCenter.
Okay.
And if you go to host clusters, then you are able to see your compute clusters as well.
Okay.
So that's what I said in the diagram as well, that you need your vCenter so that you can get this inventory from here. There.
So is there any high availability on NSX-T?
Hi, on. Sorry, I did not get your question.
Is there any high availability?
There is a high availability, and that you need to configure at least 3 NSX-T managers. Okay.
And what about compute manager, vCenter server?
See, in the vCenter environment, you don't need actually, but you can configure HA if you're talking about the compute cluster. But if you're talking about the vCenter level, there is no need, but even though you can configure the HA for the vCenter as well. So depending upon your network, the design, you can choose the HA of your vCenter. But when you talk about the vCenter is just a virtual machine. Okay. So when you are, suppose that virtual machine is residing on any of the ESXi host, and when you are planning to migrate, reboot the host, or might be to put the host into maintenance mode, that virtual machine will be migrated to other ESXi host, depending upon the DRS and the HA.
Is it possible that we can we have an physical hardware for the vCenter server and one in the VM virtual server?
See,
For the
I don't
vCenter?
know about hardware for the vCenter. I don't know there is anything exists like that. But for vCenter, it's always an operating system. It's a VM based.
That is appliances, sir. It is residing on the top of the ESXi.
Right. It is just a virtual machine.
Previously, there was a concept for the physical. Now there is no chance. In the sense,
Earlier there was a
Windows, top
Yes.
of Windows, something like that. A separate SQL means a database and all something.
Yes, you are right. Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's an appliances.
Okay.
So guys, I rest my class for the day. I'm done. If you have any questions, then yeah, I am good to answer your questions.
Kiran, see, when we start the NSX part, you will start from which part? Means you will start from that standard switch, VDS and all. It will cover that one, or you will straight away you will go to the NSX part.
Okay, guys, let me share my screen
So,
again.
yeah, give me some introduction, then we can easily identify.
See, as I told you earlier as well, that the topic that we are going to start was this one. Then we are going to talk about the differences. And then we are going to talk about the NSX-T architecture. So that topic, these two topics I thought to cover today and tomorrow, but people say it's a demo class. So this topic we NSX-T we can start from the next week onwards.
So what we will cover tomorrow?
Tomorrow I'll cover most into VSS and VDS.
Okay.
Because VDS I wanted to cover today, but it's NSX-T class and people want
No,
to know.
actually, this is the NSX introduction. That is why I asked you to explain
No,
something
it's okay.
about
It's okay, Rajesh. I don't have any problem. I'm here to solve.
Tomorrow, Karan, just continue for VSS and VDS. So tomorrow will be the final lecture of them. We'll extend one more day as per your demand.
Yeah, correct. That's good. That's great.
Yeah, continue, Karan.
Yeah, Riyaz, I'm done from my side. People have some concerns related to the payment, right? So
yeah. So everything will be discussed on the group, and our sales team will be. You can directly chat with our sales team. Hello.
Yeah, Riaz, you're audible.
Yeah, you can directly contact to me or either Umar or Aisha, Rashid, anybody in our sales team. You can directly contact to them, or you can chat one-to-one also to us, the WhatsApp group.
Can you share that in the message itself, the details of the salespersons and the
I'll do
contact
that.
numbers?
I'll share in the my that this group WhatsApp ka group only, NSX-T ka group. So everybody will be aware of that.
Okay.
Yeah, it is there in the group.
Yeah,
Ah,
I will share everything in the group. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So how the today's training? Hello. How the today's training with Karan?
Yeah, good. It's good. Really good.
Karan is actually architect in the VMware. He's very expert in the VMware.
No, it was really good.
Yeah, it is good. It is good.
Okay, guys. Tomorrow we'll continue same time, and he will cover that VSS and VDS part.
Okay.
Oh, okay, guys. Let's meet tomorrow then. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Karan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karan.